Crumpets content here, y'all, aka Jimmy J, aka J Legend, aka the best in the business. I'm here talking about the recap of the NFL draft. Let's get with it. Let's get started. Yeah, it started off with the first round pick. We traded up to 20 from 23 to 20 with the Dallas Cowboys. And we got wide receiver Makai Lemon. He's ranked the number two receiver in the draft. I thought it was a pretty solid pick. He got great speed, and the only thing I worry about him is run after the catch. That's the one thing I didn't like about him, but everything else I liked about him. He got to work on run after the catch and breaking tackles after he get hit, cause he go down too easily when he get tackled. So he got to work on that. He got great breakaway speed. Everything else I like about him, but that run after the catch, he has to work on that. But I like everything else. I like him as a receiver. And too, he was an award-winning receiver. I forgot what award he won. I think it was a Naismith Award or something like that. Something like that. But overall, he's a pretty good receiver. A really good receiver. And you see him at the game with Devontae Smith. So, but we gonna go on to the second round. And we got L Stowers. He was the number. He was the number two. We got a pattern. He's the number two tight end. Only concerns about with him is he may not be a good blocking tight end, but great receiver. But he was ranked as the number two tight end in the draft. Another award winning pass catcher. But but Ellie Stars, he like I said, he was a award-winning pass catcher. He was an elite tight end in college. Coming in and coming to the pros, if he become a consistent blocker, at least a solid blocker, this dude probably be an all pro or at least a pro bowler. But the Eagles, they really restocking their team, revamping their team already. They got a new offense. They putting together some receivers. They got a tight end. This the tight end that's going to replace Goddard in another year or two. But we gonna see how he looks in the Sherman Mannion offense, which I think he's fit. He's a good fit. And their draft looked like it shaped up to a. I thought it was pretty good draft. I thought it was like a draft, a solid A. Even though with the Makai Leonard dude, I thought they could have got a little bit of a taller receiver, but outside of that, he gets situation to catch. But only thing about him is the yards after catch. Just like with Ellie Stowers, he's not a great blocker. He at least a solid blocker, like Goddard is. He's good. Just going to the next draft. We got Marco Bell, offensive tackle from Miami. He's picked third round, the 68th pick in the draft. I thought it was a good pickup because we needed a tackle. He probably a guy that's going to replace Lane Johnson. You got the size, got the footwork. Because I said we had to get a tackle like in the second or third round. And and after the third round, then the tackle, but it was a deep tackle draft. But I thought after the third round, you wasn't going to get any great tackles after the third round. You had to get one in the first three rounds. But they got a tackle. They got one. But yeah, they got one in this one. But once is yeah once he adjusts, I think Marco Bell he'd be all right. I think that's a real solid pick. But Lane Johnson, yeah, once he had to step up. But I thought it was a good pick. But that's like I said after the fourth round, like you was gonna get no. As I said, after the third round, you was gonna get no more starting tackles because it was a deep tackle drive. But the first three rounds, you had to get one in the first three rounds because there was a lot in the first round. It was like about four tackles that came off the board, 4 or 5 tackles that came off the board in the first round. Yeah, about actually more than that, about 6 tackles that came off the board in the first round. But they got a good one. So I like there's no way in the world they gonna pick up the sixth best offensive tackle in the first round. They might as well wait until the second or third round. And I knew they most likely was gonna get a tight end in the second round. But they got everybody they wanted. Cause that's how the ball is. That's it. First round, they was gonna either get either a tackle or a receiver. They got a receiver. Second round, I said they most likely gonna get a tight end or a defensive player, and they got a tight end. They got a tackle because they had to get a tackle in the first three rounds. They got a tackle. So how we definitely was cooking. But we go on to the next one, and next one we made the trade for Jonathan Gennard from the Minnesota Vikings, and we traded a late third round pick. Yeah, we traded number 98 to the number 98, and then we traded next year the late third round pick for him. So we gave up 2 late third rounds for Gennard, and we in the seventh. So no, I think they gave us a 7. I think they might have gave us a 7. Yeah, they gave us a 7th in return and Gennard. So and Sills was wrong. Sills was wrong about that. Gennard is 28, not 31, and two they gave him a $100 million deal, 50 million guaranteed. So technically only a two-year deal, 25 million per year. And after that second year, they could cut him. They could cut him in right before year 3. There's an out in 2 years. I think it's 28. 28 is out. But he had two really great seasons. He had one season where I think he had 11 sacks with the Texans. Then the next season he was like an all pro. Yeah, because that's two seasons he made it to the Pro Bowl. He was an all pro and had 12 and a half sacks. So yeah, but yeah, Jonathan Yard. Yeah, I feel like it was a real good trade, really good trade. But Eagles, yeah, they been Howard been cooking. Howard been really cooking. But yeah, Gennard, yeah, but Gennard, yeah, he was a two. I think he was like a two-time Pro Bowler. He was an All Pro, like I said that 2024 season. Now, the last season he had a down year. Yeah, but 23 and 24, he had that 11 sack season with the Texans, and then the 12 and a half sack season with the Vikings. But it was a good pickup. It was a great trade. They didn't give up much to get him. They got a reasonable deal. Got him at 25 million. Got him at 25 million. So it was a great trade. Yeah, and I think he's an upgrade over Phillips. Phillips is 4 years younger, but they ain't paying $30 million, and they still could get 2 years out of him. That ain't bad. Yeah, he a veteran. They could get 2 years. 2 year. Yeah, he's not 30 yet. They still could get 2 years out of him. That ain't bad. They were trying to say he was 31, but he's 28. That's a big difference. You could at least get 3 really good years out of him. Yeah, at least three years out of him. But yeah, excellent pickup. It was a very excellent pickup. How he doing his job. He on his job. How he's on his job. And the next player we got was Cole Payton, quarterback. He got in the fifth round, pick 178. He's supposed to be a left hander, a lefty, which I don't have a problem with lefties, but I don't know how well he'd fit with the right hand group. But because you got to flip everything, but I don't think it's a big deal. And most likely, he probably not even gonna make the roster. He is supposed to be a dual threat, but I don't even see him most likely even making the roster. Because right now he's gonna be the fourth quarterback. I don't see him making the roster. But he's a quarterback out of Bison. I think he was at I don't know, it was Kansas City or Oregon. I think he might have been Oregon. But NDSU, NDSU, and then Dakota. Yeah, North Dakota. I think he was from North Dakota. I think that's North Dakota State. It wasn't Carson Wentz from North Dakota, but yeah, but I think no Carter, but he's from North Dakota State. No, but yeah, but like I said, he's a left-hander. But like I said, I don't think he gonna make the roster because he's right now. He's the fourth quarterback on the depth chart. I don't think he's beating out Andy. I don't think he's beating out McKee. So, but we just have to see how everything plays out. Yeah, next you got uh, Michael Morris, Mount Makai Morris, guard from Georgia. You know how the Eagles love Georgia players, Georgia Bulldogs. But yeah, he's a guard. He's supposed to be like a swing guard. And this is when you usually pick guards like about fifth or sixth round. But it looked like a good pickup. But the guy player with his pedigree, he looked like he's a pretty good player. He was a pretty good player in college. His only knock with him was he got to stay low. He got to stay low. He had the same thing problem that Jordan Davis had with staying low and and maintaining his footwork. He do that, he'd be just fine. Stay low, maintaining your footwork. But Makai Morris, guard Georgia, he's picked round six, the 277 six pick, seventh pick. Georgia Bulldogs. But yeah, Makai Morris. Yes, swing guard. That's what I project him to be, like a swing guard. But let's get on to the next pick. Cole Wentz, yeah, Wiskonowski, his safety out of Texas. I thought they would pick a safety a little earlier, like probably third round. But because I think they end up was forced to pick a safety like seventh how the board played out until they traded a third round pick. Well, when that third round pick they traded probably would have been a safety. The late third round. But said they got a another edge rusher. But Kyle Wisniewski, he looks like he'd probably be a good rotational safety. But he is a seventh round pick, so you never know. Seven round pick. Most seven round picks, yeah, they usually either they be solid or they be a bust. He either make the roster or he get cut. So it's like you dealing like seven players like that. They either boom or bust. So yeah, like I said, boom or bust with him. Next is the Nigerian player coming straight from Nigeria. Umar Bernard, D tackle. They say he's real dense. He probably need flexibility, but he has a lot of upside. And he's kind of like similar to Malata. And that Malata, before he got in the NFL, he never played football at all. He's a defensive version of Malata. But he probably do need probably work on some flexibility. But got great straight line speed, great vertical jump, and everything. So he get on his work on his flexibility and then work on his technique. He's probably gonna be redshirt his first year, but right now he's gonna be a pretty. I think he could be a pretty good rotational player for right now. He's gonna be like Malata. Malata, nah, but he pick up the game quick. He could be like another Malata on the defensive end. If he pick it up, he pick up the game quick enough because he got a lot of raw athletic ability. He probably could be a perimeter player as he pick up the game. But we just see how it pans out with him and see how it all works out. But yeah, he having a coming to America moment. Coming to America. Give us free. Uh, uh. Okay, next player, next last pick. And I do UGE frames in a separate segment because I don't like mixing them with the draft picks. Because they non-drafted. I'll do that in a separate segment. But another seventh round pick, the last pick of the draft for the Eagles, seventh round pick at pick 253. Keyshawn James Newby. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Outside linebacker for New Mexico. Yeah, this is kind of like similar to the last player. It's kind of like a stab in the dark. You just picking a potential on the upside. Yeah, it could be a hit and miss. It would just shoot at the dark. Right now, he's not a starter, but he got some upside. He probably a nice rotational guy coming in if he makes the roster. Like they did, yeah, just like they had Antoine Pope. He had all, but he got cut. But this the seven round picks, they more just a stab in the dark. Sometimes they pan out, sometimes they don't. It's like a hit and miss with seven round picks. So most likely he probably won't make the roster either. Because most seven round picks don't make the roster. I think the last seven round pick we had made the roster probably with Jalen Mills and Malata. And they both turned out to be good players. But seven round pick is always a hit and miss. But most times they don't make the roster. But we just had to see how things panned out. But he looked like he got some potential. I haven't really seen his tape. I haven't to do tape on him, but we had to see how play out on the board. Not like I said, I do a separate segment with undrafted free agents, but like I said, this guy could be hit and miss. I haven't really checked his tape, see see how good of a player, see how he jump out. If some player jump out at you, like yeah, if that translate in NFL, like he might be a player in a few years, in probably like 3 years. But usually players that's picked in the first 3 rounds, usually, especially the edge rusher in 3 rounds, usually they gonna be a starter. Yeah. Whether they be a Pro Bowl or not, yeah. But most guys that's picked in the seventh round is usually hit and miss. Sometimes they pan out, most times they don't. But we have to see how he pans out. But he got all the attributes. He got the size. He looks like he got the height. Let me check out his. Keyshawn James. So he's 6'1", 240. He is a little light. He got like a middle linebacker size. He do have to put on like about 10 pounds. Yeah, he got to get up to like. Yeah, he definitely is a project. Yeah, he definitely is a project. Yeah, 6'1". He got the height, but he ain't really got. Most linebackers you want to be like 6'2", 6'3", maybe 6'4". Yeah, more 6'2", 6'3". But he still got the height. He just don't got the weight. He got to get his weight up. He got to get his weight up. At least he ain't under 6 foot. You can't be under 6 foot or under 6'1" and be an edge rusher. But yeah, he supposed to be an outside linebacker. Yeah, he's not gonna be an edge rusher being that thin. Probably an inside linebacker. Yeah, he need to pick on like 10 pounds. Put on like 10 pounds. But that rounds out the draft. Well, this gonna be the end of the draft. I'm gonna do another show probably maybe tomorrow. Undrafted free agents. But this is the Crown Prince of Commentating. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Like, share, and subscribe. I'm out. Peace.